What's up, crew? Welcome to my personal channel. My name is Spencer, and happy Hanukkah to everyone who is still celebrating Hanukkah. It's an 8-day event, if you didn't know, and it's awesome, and I celebrate it. So happy Hanukkah to everybody out there. This week, I want to touch on the legal part of transitioning, simply because if you follow me on Snapchat or Tumblr or Instagram, you would know that on January 4th, I went to get my name change. Unfortunately, it did not go through. Now, I wasn't denied. I was not denied, I was rescheduled. And I just want to tell you a little bit about the experience I've had with that and what I've learned from my support group and my attorney, so it'll be easier on everyone else out there. You go to family court for your name change. And family court is a lot like traffic court in the sense of it's a docket system, which means that it doesn't go based on relevance or time or last name. It goes whenever your petition to change your name was processed. So when I got there, my name was about 3/4 of the way down the list, so I was pretty towards the end. And in my state, in Georgia, and my county, family court is only open from 9 a.m. until 3 p.m. with a lunch break from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. So if you don't get called, you get rescheduled. When I was there was 2 trans individuals that were able to approach, and unfortunately they were both denied. So I just kind of wanted to impart some just pieces of wisdom, especially if you are in the South like I am. The first bit is presentation. Before I start, let me state that everything I'm saying, especially with these pieces of advice, are very much stereotypical and very much gender norms, and it sucks. But unfortunately, you have to play by the cisgendered rules, because when it comes to convincing a judge the need to change your name, it's biases are made, and I'm in the South, so it's very conservative. So it's unfortunate, but you have to kind of play by the rules. So presentation is a big part. Don't go in there in jeans and a t-shirt. That's definitely a no-no. Go looking business casual, business professional, whatever you want to say. You don't need a coat, like you don't need a tux jacket or anything, but look decent and look clean. That's a big thing. But the second one is, unfortunately, you should try as much as you can to look the way society views male or female. The first woman that went up was a trans woman, and she was in a suit and tie and didn't have makeup on and didn't have long hair, etc. And it sucks because they don't take into consideration her safety. I don't know if she came here through public transportation. I don't know what her family life is like at home. I have no idea and the judge has no idea if she could even safely navigate from point A to point B without being harassed or killed because of her presentation. So that sucks, and I wish that wasn't the case, but it was to the point that the judge even mentioned. Anyways, look presentable and try your best to fit whatever gender norm, whatever gender you're trying to go for. It's so annoying to say that because I'm non-binary and I don't get it. Number 2 would be know your rights. And this is the biggest reason why I have an attorney. So legally, the judge cannot ask you questions that you have not opened the door for. And I'm saying this in the way of when both of the transgender people walked up to change their name, they stated, "I would like to change my name because I am transgender." And because they stated that they're transgender, that gives the judge free range to ask them any question about being trans, such as hormones, T letters, surgeries, if they have therapists, all those questions. Where my attorney told me to say, I would like to change my name because I have been using this name in both my personal and professional life for a number of months or a number of years. You want to use those increments or greater increments because it makes it seem like it's more time versus days. So That's what he told me to say. And by saying that, they legally cannot ask, or I'm legally not required to answer any question about like my gender expression. Which brings me to another reason why I have my attorney. Basically, if the judge was to ask, is it because you're transgender? You legally can say my gender expression has nothing to do with this case. And that's because you are solely there to change your name. You're not there to explain to them what trans is. You're not there to explain to them your gender identity. You are solely there to change your name. And that's very important to understand. So when they ask you those questions, if you haven't mentioned that you are transgender, you can legally say that is not pertinent information. But by saying that, it's a double-edged sword because it creates a bias in the judge's head, because the judge will think, well, if you weren't trans, you would just say no. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like answering the question without answering the question. Which is why I have my attorney. Because if the judge was to ask me questions like that, my attorney could easily say, that's not pertinent, or objection, relevance, or however it goes. And since he's impartial, the judge will be less likely to make that connection. Know your rights when it comes to answering questions, and know that you don't have to give any information about your trans experience or anything like that if you don't mention that you are transgender. My third question is to be prepared. Now, I have a support group that I go to. Most of the people at my support group have changed their names. I'm able to get like a docket of questions that were asked to them when they were going through the process. Some of them were denied, and they told me why they were denied and how to fix it. So I would definitely go to a support group to meet, ask, or whatever. Find somebody who's done this process and see what questions they would ask you. Your state may be completely cool and progressive and liberal, and it won't even be this big of a deal. But if you were in the South like me, or if you're in a conservative area, things like this happen. And that's what I just kind of want to bring to everybody's attention. A couple of questions that were commonly asked to my friends at my support group were, one, when did you start taking hormones, or are you on hormones? Now, again, if you don't reveal your trans status, this question is irrelevant, but if you did, you want to again use the terms months and years versus days and weeks. If you are not on hormones, there is a safe way to answer this question. And that answer is, unfortunately, I cannot take hormones due to health concerns. Even if you just didn't start T because you just have to wait, you can still make that statement. And that's because it's not a lie. There are adverse effects to testosterone. There are adverse effects to hormone replacement therapy. And if you just haven't gotten the chance to go to a gender therapist, or if informed consent has you wait, then the health concern will be you don't know if your blood can take it. And that is the safest way to answer that question if you haven't started T. When it comes to other questions such as, have you seen a therapist? If you are informed consent, which technically I got testosterone through informed consent because I did not wait for my gender therapist to give me a letter to start T. But if you are informed consent, this is a big question. So if you are informed consent, I would ask the clinic to give you a letter stating, Spencer Adams has started testosterone because he suffers from gender dysphoria or body dysphoria. Because you don't need it to be from a therapist. Like a PCP can write that letter, and you can show them the letter and be like, because I have gender dysphoria, here's my letter. And they'll be like, oh, legal document, great. Like as much documentation as you have, the easier it is. The very much easier it is. The trans guy that went before, he didn't have any documentation. He went through informed consent, and he's only been on T for a week. He was also 18, which shouldn't matter, but, does. It was unfortunate because he spoke about how he knew he was transgender since he was 15, but didn't have supportive parents, so he had to wait until he was legally able to do so. But because he didn't have all that information, and he was young, and he just started, they were like, come back in a year. And my last bit of information, or my last tip, would just be to be confident. Go there, know that you're there, know what you're there for, which is to simply change your name and just sell it. I don't know how long it took everyone to pick their name, but my name took a process, and it's very dear to me, and I loved putting together my first name, my middle name, my last name, and I love my name, and I cannot wait until it's legal and everything. So when I go there, I'm going to be as confident as possible with all my proper documentation and my attorney and the wealth of knowledge that I learned from my support groups and everyone else, and I'm going to sell it. Because at the end of the day, you're there to change your name, nothing more. Alright guys, I hope that's helped anybody out there who is dealing with the legal part of transitioning. If you have any questions, concerns, issues, problems, qualms, please feel free to hit me up in the comments below or any of my personal social media sites. And hey, if you have any topics that you'd like me to hit on, definitely comment and I will do my best to make videos on that. And I am leaving you with one very, very important question. Please answer this for me. Please help me out. On the first of the year, I am either getting snakebite piercings, which if you don't know are right here, or a new tattoo, but I don't know which one to get. So please, in the comments below or on any of my social sites, please let me know if you think I should get snake bites or a new tattoo. And I hope you guys are having a great weekend and are gearing up for an even better week. It is Saturday. It is Spencer. Until next time.